temperature near 85. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Shopping for a garage, portable building, cabin? We build them anywhere from 8 to 16 foot wide, 10 feet to 60 feet long. We can do insulation, electricity, transom dormers, thermal windows. Come, let's customize a building together. Rick Vossen, Stormore portable building dealer, Panama City.
Experience a higher level of service. For over 32 years, David Adamson Designer Jewelry has been providing you the very best of fine jewelry and repair in Lynn Haven. Now, David has added Amber Anderson and Russ Klinger to help you find the one-of-a-kind engagement ring, anniversary gift, or something just for you. You've trusted Amber and Russ in PCB for years, and now they're together again at David Adamson Designer Jewelry in Lynn Haven. To celebrate, they're now having their fall inventory reduction sale. 25 to 75% off store-wide. 830 Ohio Avenue in Lynn Haven, right across from the Lynn Haven City Hall.
Hey there, folks. Looking for a place that feels like home right in the heart of Panama City? Well, look no further than Charlie Corm's place at their new location on 15th Street. Charlie Corm's is not just a place, it's an experience. Imagine cozy corners, friendly faces, and the aroma of delicious dishes that'll make your taste buds dance. From sunrise breakfast to late night bites, Charlie Corm's on 15th Street has it all. Charlie Corm's place on 15th Street is now offering exclusive weekday lunch specials. Visit Charlie Corm's place on 15th Street. Look for the giant mural.
Auburn football is back this Saturday.
Thorne on fourth down. Looks and he throws across the middle. It's caught. DeAndre Lambert-Smith down to half. He's going to score. 10-5 touchdown.
The Tigers clash with the Oklahoma Sooners. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. Central on your home for the Auburn Sports Network.
ESPN Northwest Florida. War Eagle.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
There's no need to fear.
The Underdogs are here. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
What time is it?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Wagwan, Panama City. How are y'all doing this afternoon? K-Man Rick, back me down just a little bit. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 here in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop and Caveman Rick. And, of course, we're going to have your Minute with Max coming up at 4:20. We'll see if he's planting palm trees or are they big oak trees today when he's throwing not shade, but facts. Thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. Means a lot to us, me specifically, because I'm so thankful to be able to do this and be able to talk sports with you guys here in Bay County. We are your home for the Auburn Tigers, the Mosley Dolphins, and for the Atlanta Braves. And those Atlanta Braves, which I've been mistakenly saying now for the last 2 days, they are not on the road taking on the Mets. They are at the house taking on the Mets, and they're going to finish up the season against the Kansas City Royals. So excited about that. Man, that kind of changes things a little bit, right? With the home field advantage. You got Severino going up against Who do we got this evening for the Atlanta Braves? But Severino is definitely going for the Mets, and it's going to be Schwellenbach. Schwellenbach going for the Bravos. So we'll see. The Braves are at minus 145 favorite. I backed out of betting on baseball a little while ago, but again, I was just going off on them parlays, and I think that I've given up. I'm not giving up on parlays. I'm just going to bet maybe one or two parlays for a Saturday and then one or two more on Sunday. And then the rest I'm doing just head-up bets.
I mean, if you're doing anything more than like a 3-leg parlay, you got to treat it almost like a scratch-off, right? Like it's like $1 to win like 100.
I treat everything like because I'm gambling for the sweat.
Yeah.
I'm not gambling like, look here, I'm going to, it's just one of those things that it's like, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? When you hit it, boom. When you don't, forget it. Like, it's gone. I don't put, I'm talking maybe $20 in a weekend. Sometimes it gets a little heftier than that, but not much. You know what I mean? I'm not betting anything that I would be like, dude, I cannot believe I lost that. You know what I mean?
If you do, then there's a hotline you got to call.
1-800.com.
No doubt.
But Boston Tim was, I was chatting with him the other day, and he was just like, that's how they get people, though. That's how they make, I don't know how much it is, but it's because of the parlays.
$2, $3.
Well, and the parlays, though, because how often, I would say 75% of the time, I'm hitting, let's say an 8-leg parlay. The sweet spot is 4 to 5. 3 legs is probably the smart parlays, but Max is here if you can hit that. But I like each Sunday I put out $1 parlay like I'm gonna hit every single game. You know what I mean? You got
and if you do, like, because if you do, especially if you do all 15, 16 games a week, I mean, you're talking $1 to win like 112,000 sometimes.
Sometimes,
crazy,
yeah.
You know,
I mean, sometimes it's just $1,000, but even if it's $1,000, I'm taking a day off. Like. It might be the rest of that Sunday or whatever, as Max Delyden has just picked up a Gatorade Zero provided by Buffalo Rock. So here we go. You know we're on the air right now, right? Oh, you wanted a Gator Light. Is that what you're saying?
If he showed up on time, he would have had one.
This dude was sitting here drinking kombucha the other day. My goodness.
I drink that stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
I didn't realize Max was that much.
What did you just say?
He sounded like Theo Vaughn.
So, funny story. Funny story. Somebody walked into PCB Hobby the other day and was talking with Coach Brian Haddad, and he was like, hey, I recognize your voice. You're on the radio. And he was like, that guy who runs the 4 o'clock show, he kind of sounds like Theo Vaughn. I'm like, well, all right. I feel like I do more.
He's an absolute enigma.
I love
so
Theo Vaughn. Yeah, I think he's quite hilarious. But anyways, 850-215-6290 is the number to call or text today, as Max is opening up the book to get some work done here on his unpaid segment for the Afternoon Underdogs. Tyler, you were at a big game this last Sunday, right? And were you surprised? Chiefs Falcons, ladies and gentlemen, that's where he was. Were you surprised, though, at how that game went down?
I think from a score. So my brother-in-law texted me like right before the game, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm trying to put a parlay together. How do you feel?" I was like, "Well, I think the Falcons are going to make the Chiefs hurt. They got the best safety tandem in the league with Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons. I have a feeling they're not going to give up anything cheap to the Chiefs. Chiefs haven't been a big downfield team since Tyreek left anyway, and that's kind of what they did. They made the Chiefs like nickel and dime them all the way down the field, held them in the red zone a few times. I was kind of shocked with how poorly the Chiefs played on defense to open up the game. That first drive, I mean, the Falcons and Kirk just lit them up. I mean, they drove down the field, no issues, and then Drake London was open by about 12 yards. Somehow they're at the 8-yard line. I think Drake London was open by about 12 yards in the end zone there for that first touchdown. And then they had that huge play to Kyle Pitts in the second quarter. I think it was late in the second quarter when they went up 14-9 or whatever it was at that point. And the Chiefs defense, they had a few issues to start the game. They kind of settled in, held that running game in check pretty well. Obviously, the pass interference there towards the end, or the not called pass interference. That's tough. When you're at the game, you're like, oh, yeah, you just got to let them play. I went home to the hotel or back to the hotel later that night. And you saw the replay. I'm like, oh, yeah, they probably should have called that one. But, I mean, it's, Chiefs, man, they're tough to beat. Obviously, missing a call like that doesn't help.
You got to.
The Falcons had opportunities before and after. The game's never decided on one play. I know a lot of people like to believe it is, but
a situation
don't
like
tell
that.
To Bengals fans.
That was also
fans,
clear.
Hashtag NFL rigged from Adam Golf. I feel like.
Yeah, we had a discussion about that yesterday.
I saw.
It is like, dude, don't say it was a phantom pass interference.
Isn't that more of a Miles kind of a take, though?
Well, it is, but AG is drinking the Kool-Aid, man.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, they should have.
And he's going to be here to defend himself tomorrow.
Stay hydrated, AG. Stay hydrated.
Absolutely.
I mean, a good starting point is probably to beat the Commanders. Then
That let Jaden Daniels not have to punt. I mean, he had
neither team's punted though, right? No turnovers, no punts,
and touchdowns last night.
How about that, bro?
Man, it's awesome because Cliff Kingsbury's offense kind of been under attack. Jaden Daniels, but is it starting to come together? We'll see, but man,
I mean, he's the best rookie quarterback out there right now, right? It's not even close. Statistically speaking, it's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely performed extremely. And honestly, I mean, Terry McLaurin is a great wide receiver, but so is DJ Moore.
Yeah,
shouldn't be a surprise though. He's on a pretty decent team. We knew that. It was just a question mark. Was new ownership, new coaching, just a lot a newness.
Right?
It's coming together kind of quick, like Houston last year.
I'm with him too. I mean, because I think now more than ever we're seeing how. I mean, this is a pretty cold take, but how necessary it is to have an offensive-minded head coach, let alone a good OC. And you're putting these guys like Malik Willis, who, let's call a spade a spade. He's not good. He gets put on he gets cut by the Titans. He's so bad he got beat out by Will Levis, the worst quarterback in the league. Goes to the Packers, gets with LaFleur, who is like a quarterback whisperer. Like if you can get Jordan Love paid $55 million a year and make Malik Willis look like a competent quarterback, I think that just goes leaps and beyond.
I think it real quick. I'll let you. I think it shows just how important teams matter. Organization you go to.
That's what I was exactly.
It's not like Dan Quinn. He's not an offensive guy. It's not like Cliff Kingsbury is an offensive genius, or he's proven to be an offensive genius in the league.
Right.
So it just shows. I mean, and I'm not saying Washington's even been a historically great run, organization, but I think kind of Malik Willis, Andy Dalton. Or Baker Mayfield going to Tampa and looking so much better than he did in Cleveland. Sam Darnold looking good with the Vikings when he didn't with the Jets, didn't with the Panthers. I think it just shows some teams win for a reason and some teams always seem to lose for a reason. And it starts at the very
top, man. That's what it comes down to, is how much you're willing to put into your team, and not just in a financial standpoint, because you have to have that, but you've got to have the coach that cares. Then you got to have the coach that commits to the players. Then you got to have the coach that connects with the players. Then you have to have that right element of aggression. Then it comes down to the quarterback, right? Well,
You're even skipping the general manager in between the coach and the owner,
right? I mean, how big
managing the dollars and cents and the deals.
That's where the Titans had a little track record there for a second, right? Underneath Vrabel, where it was looking good. And then all of a sudden, all right, we're going to get rid of
Carthon, man.
They got rid of the GM prior to him. Then they bring in Rand Carthon. Now, Amy Adams Strunk, the owner, is like, well, I don't know which one of you, who's going to make the decisions here. And Vrabel, I think that's a hard position to be in, A, as a general manager, because that should be his job, and then B, as a head coach who wants to have a say in what players he's getting and stuff. And I think that's where the problems kind of started after they got back from the problems. And then you're in a world where I loved it. I loved watching us just run the ball. I knew what was coming. Does it work every time? No, but there's 60 minutes of football for a reason. Yeah. And
you had a really good runner too. Of the ball.
Well, and that
helps out a lot.
That's 6'2", 240 coming downhill at you.
Yeah. Oh man, it was so good seeing Derrick Henry go off this last Sunday, man, especially against the Cowboys. But yeah, it's called a team for a reason, and that goes what you were saying, from the very top all the way down to the bottom, to the practice squad players, for crying out loud. And then when Malik Willis, I think that proves that point even more so, is I was not a big believer in Malik Willis, but here you are
I'm still not.
No. Well, of course you won't ever be, because of the Packers. And I'm not sitting here saying that my mind has changed.
No, I think the Packers are top to bottom. They're greatly ran organization. I mean,
and that's what I was kind of getting at. Is
they haven't had a hole at quarterback now in 30 years?
Yeah.
So, and that's.
I don't think.
What other team can you say has done that?
What other team has that structure though? They don't have one man's
owner.
They don't have one man's vision, like a David Tepper that can interfere like a Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
it's a whole collection of people. So because of that, it's really hard, I think, to change gears and to change the way things are going.
Yeah, I agree.
Quickly, you know.
And I mean, it's just a harsh reality that I've just decided at 28 years I'm just gonna have to live with.
Hey, better late than never, I guess.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
I
don't
should have
know
known when Jordan Love got paid $55 million a year. That
I don't know how adults can how do you change your football team outside of Jay? I'll give it to Jay because he had a full-on divorce decree and all that stuff.
You're not a
paid for
fan.
the lawyer
if you're
and
doing
everything.
It. You're not a true fan.
But that's what I'm saying. Is, changing your teams, like especially.
If you change your
Football
allegiance to stuff like that, I don't feel you're committed in a whole lot of things
How
in
do you
life.
change his allegiance?
So he had a divorce. He was an Atlanta Falcons fan, and then he went to the Buffalo Bills after this divorce decree. They were dating for a little while, and now he's a Miami Dolphins fan.
Until now, too, is hurt and he's crippled, and then
at
it'll
the end
be
of the day,
somebody
he's
else.
a true fan. Because fan is short for fanatic. You can't change your fanaticism.
Yeah.
Don't talk about my guy Jay like that. First off. Secondly, you might be right.
I mean, I'm just saying, he may have been a Falcons supporter. He may have really liked the Falcons. But
it's not going to
if
change.
you were a
his
true
mood.
fan, fanatic, I don't think there's
no.
Like I'm married to Vicky, but I don't root for Notre Dame. Like I don't sell out.
Word.
Wait, was she's a Notre Dame fan or just family ties?
She went to school in South Bend.
Oh, how did y'all end up together then?
High school. We went to high school.
okay.
Didn't start dating till
Did
senior year
you
of college,
were you
though.
kind of upset with her that she went to Notre Dame?
She's smarter than me.
Dude, that's the kind of paper, though, when you graduate, like my grandmother has that. When you have that piece of paper that says, like, Notre Dame on it at the end, like, it's like a gold ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like their helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she, went to St. Mary's and took class at Notre Dame because... financially-
that's like
double.
That's like
financially Notre
double
Dame's
whammy.
Isn't that
She's
like
like,
the
I'll
Rudy?
take football for Notre Dame and I'll take basketball for St.
Isn't that
Mary's.
a Rudy Root?
No, St. Mary's is an all-women's school.
Oh.
Okay, so it's not the Rudy Root.
No,
FSU ahead of their curve. How about FSU getting the dub though this week? Right?
Yeah, real impressive.
Cal missed 2 field goals. I'm not saying Florida State played perfect by any means either.
No, they did not play
But
perfect.
getting a win is important, especially before going on the road to SMU. They're getting into the meat of their schedule.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit of confidence. I think if you're a Florida State fan, you got to be a little bit disappointed that with Atkins coming back, the offense still really never got in a rhythm. They did run the ball. They seemed more committed to the run. They ran a little better. But I think with
Cam Davis kind of started to show out.
Yeah, and they had by far their best rushing performance, but they still put up 14 points on Cal, which I'm not saying Cal's a bad team by any means, but it's not like they all of a sudden had this offensive explosion and everything clicked because Alex Atkins came back. So going into the meat of their schedule, at the road or on the road for SMU, Clemson, Duke, Miami the next 4 weeks. That's going to be a tough road for them. Duke's their best. SMU, Duke are their 2 best shots. Both those on the road. Clemson coming to the house the way they've looked the last 2 weeks. Everybody wrote them off after them dogs smacked them around, and all of a sudden, maybe Clemson ain't too bad.
Yeah.
Maybe Clemson's
really good. North Carolina State's I don't think that's a good barometer for any team.
No, but I think
no.
Yeah, I think if you're a Clemson fan, obviously NC State gave a lot of points to Tennessee. They sucked
that's
versus
like
Western
saying
Carolina.
James Madison's a juggernaut.
And
but would
La
they
Tech?
be FSU?
But I think if you're Clemson, when was the last time you saw your offense score like that in back-to-back weeks, though? Granted, not the best competition.
We talk about
Clemson.
Oh, Clemson.
If your offense putting up 120 points or whatever it was in 2 weeks,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good.
I have FSU still on my on my Mount Rushmore of losers of the week.
Did you see that Florida, according to the ESPN analytics, has a 51% chance to beat Florida State as of today?
Florida does?
Florida.
51%
It's like
chance?
51.4 to
And that'll just
48.6.
vacillate back and forth. That'll be I think that, it's still going to be a fun game to watch.
Oh, for sure. Especially, it's in Doak this year, so that'll be a good game for them. And, it's going to be one of those games that Florida State's got to have. They want to make a run at a bowl. They're looking at their schedule. Charleston Southern and North Carolina don't look strong, but outside of that,
it's going to be tough.
They could easily lose any of those other games.
This is a new thing that we're going to bring to your Minute with Max is going to be Max's Mount Rushmore of losers each week.
I have 4 things. 3 college football related because I want to.
He wants to be part of.
I want Tyler to still be,
No, we're good.
Yeah, we have plenty of time before and after you.
I'm rearing. I'm ready for it.
All right. Well, once we get back, but we still have 5 more minutes here. Don't forget, we are your home for the Atlanta Braves, and coverage starts right here on ESPN Northwest Florida at 6:00. First pitch, 6:20. Schwellenbach going for the Braves up against Luis Severino for the Mets, and I just got word that Austin Riley will not be making it back at all this year. Oh man, I think that you just
My
kind of,
tiny
it's like
violin's playing for the Braves.
isopropyl. What's that?
My violin plays for Braves fans.
It's kind of just like putting a little bit of hydrogen peroxide on the wound. It stings for a little bit, and then it kind of makes it better. So, it is what it is. The fact, honestly, I think if you're a Braves fan, you have to give credit to what Brian Snitker was able to do this year. For them to be able to even be in this playoff race when you're talking about your best pitcher and your best one of your best defensive players and obviously your best offensive player, which I would go on a limb. Max, I don't want to use up your time.
You're fine.
Well, no, I'm saying I know that we do talk baseball on your segment some, but real quick, is it asinine to say that Ronald Acuna Jr.'s year last year, his MVP year, was because some people are sitting here saying that this is the best season ever from a baseball player in Shohei Ohtani. When I look at the numbers from Acuna, though, I would take Acuna's season over Shohei's last year.
Side by side,
334 compared to 295. That's batting average. Home runs for Ronnie was 43. Stolen bases or 40 something. Stolen bases was 73.
He was playing both ways. He wasn't just
playing
hitting
defense, but you can't, in my opinion, in the defense of Shohei, you can't count that against him because it's not like he's choosing to, because we all know that if he could be pitching or if he could be in the field,
but would he be healthy enough to be out there enough to hit the 50-50? You know what I'm saying?
That's fair too.
So,
and guess what? If I'm the Dodgers, and next year he comes out and he gets hurt on the bump or he gets hurt out in the field, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm keeping Shohei Ohtani, and he's going to be a designated hitter, because if I can get that out of you and I don't get the other sides of it, that's worth it right there, because you're still going to be bringing
Hall of Famer basically just off of that alone.
Yeah, you're still bringing in ticket sales.
So Acuna last year was what, 40-70, right?
40-70
in change, right? So
50,
I guess like how much, like how many home runs equates to where does that metric, like as far as comparing home runs to stolen bases, like?
Well, now Shohei had much more RBIs too than what Ronnie did, but I think that's a little different
Ronnie
too.
had way more runs.
Leadoff hitter compared to and he had more runs, so there is that. Where we're going.
Ohtani's been
WAR was higher for Ronnie as well, but I think that's defensive added in.
It's not though, because Acuna was not good in the field last year.
I'm going off the graphic that I saw.
His D-WAR was negative.
No. All right, but I'm just saying WAR in general, Ronnie's was higher than Shohei on the graphic that I saw.
I believe you.
Yeah,
I'm just saying his D-WAR was not a positive factor.
No, and that's actually been one of the
kind of knocks on him.
It's one of those things where he makes some really good plays where you're like, oh my gosh, this guy is amazing, and then he makes some that's like, I was at a little league field last night and watched that guy make that.
Where's it easier to hit home runs, Chavez Ravine or Truist? Probably Chavez.
That's a good question. I think it depends on the time of the year.
Yeah.
I would say that overall, if it and that's probably something you could find on Fangraphs or something. My goodness, I forgot. It's been a while since we've had Sam Peebles on. He would be a fun guy to talk about this with.
Yeah, it's hard too, because like I don't want to you don't want to take it away, but stealing bases since the pitch clock is so much easier now.
Well, since you can't commit twice, or overcommit,
it's kind of like a hollow. I mean, it's definitely beneficial, but it's more of like a hollow statistic to me. Like, once
you go twice, I mean, you're giving a guy a free pass basically to steal.
It's like, yes, it's impressive that he got over 50 steals, but it's to an extent, it's not, because the pitcher's so limited now.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that, because it gives the batter such an advantage. Like, I'm okay with the pitch clock, but I hate that you can't, repeatedly pick off
Ricky
guys.
I can't stand that, because Ronald Acuna might be at 40-40.
Yeah, Ricky.
He might be at 40-40, but he's not at 73.
Ricky could have got 100, man.
So.
Ricky Henderson. Yeah.
Oh, 200. He went over 100.
Yeah, he did that. He did that back in the day. He did that back in the day. He's probably over 200, no doubt about it. You guys riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You have something real quick?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's the one thing to look at too. Acuna higher OBP, but higher slug, OPS plus for Ohtani.
Okay.
And not that it's factored into it, but he did switch leagues, so he's facing much different factors of just a new home field, new everything. So I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Ronnie was coming back from injury. So is Shohei.
You got Tommy John.
Hey, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a quick timeout, and we'll be right back, y'all. Keep it locked in.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
The Atlanta Braves playoff chances are on the line, and you can cut the tension with a knife.
Everybody safe, and the Braves take the lead.
Atlanta trails the Mets by 2 games for the final wildcard spot, and tonight at Truist, it's going to be a pressure cooker as the Braves kick off a 3-game series versus the New York Mets. Coverage starts at 6 right here on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Tuesday. The rest of the day, mostly sunshine and 88 with a gentle breeze at 10 miles per hour out of the south. Tonight, very light rain and mostly clear skies with lows around 76. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy in the morning but otherwise likely thunderstorms and a temperature near 85. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been your portable building specialist since 1989. Before you invest your hard-earned money someplace else, owner Jason Mulder invites you to stop by Bestway and get a quote on just about any size building. And whether you buy with Bestway or not, it's worth the trip just to meet Bestway Buddy. Say hello, buddy. Good boy. Bestway Portable Buildings, just north of Harts Marine on 231, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. The best in portable, period. Tell them Buddy sent ya.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Said it couldn't be done. The Afternoon Underdogs are live.
They say it can't be done.
Are we going to do what they say can't be done?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Great for a season, then I blow it like that. Done things in my life that'll make you yak. We take some sex, but there's more at bats. Ain't throwing no shade, I just keep it 100. That's facts. Like your minute with Max
and we are back, and this is the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 in Panama City. Hey, bump us up a little bit now on the board, Caveman Rick, just a little bit right there. Sounds perfect. The official station for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast 104.3 here in Panama City 101.9 in Port St. Joe. What's the latest that you guys have seen?
Those bars hit, by the way, Dave.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's listening. That's Dave on the track right there.
Where do you find that at? Is it on Spotify?
Can we get that on SoundCloud at least? Can we get that on SoundCloud?
I gotta go make sure that I don't have any of my old stuff on SoundCloud.
Start a new brand.
Yeah, start a new brand. There we
DH12
go.
or something. I don't know.
No, it's probably just be David G as it's always been. But
those bars go hard.
Designated
man.
hits by David Hayes.
Oh, that's the name of an album. I've actually thought about doing one that's like Panama City based or whatever. And you know how Drake always has like a 4 a.m. in Houston or whatever? Mm-hmm. Just go to different spots in Panama City, write a song, and be like 511 in Callaway or whatever. Oh, man. Anyways, this is the Afternoon Underdogs. This is your Minute with Max. Make sure that you're listening at 5:40 this afternoon. If we announce your name, race to the phones and give us a call back. How long it takes you to call back is going to be your qualifying time. The 2 fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to the Yellowwood 500 and passes to the United Rentals 250 on October 5th. All qualifiers instantly win a Rudy's barbecue gift card and a 12-pack from Buffalo Rock. The race to Talladega from ESPN Northwest Florida. So make sure that you're listening. Coach James House Show mornings. They're going to give you a keyword 7:15 and 8:15. You take that keyword. You text it to us at 850-215.
Along with your name.
215-6290. Exactly what Caveman Rick just said. And then you listen back at 12:40 and 5:40. That's when we announce your name. All right. Your Minute with Max. What's on the docket for today? Can we start with your Mount Rushmore of losers?
I wanted to say one thing too. I know Tim Adams is a guy who listens to us a lot, big Phillies fan.
Yeah, I know Tim.
He just asked, too, if we could give a shout out to their 9U Gulf Coast Crush team, champions over this weekend. His son is actually heck of an athlete. We'll be talking about him for sure when he's in high school. I've seen him. He's always dominant. His name's Malachi Adams. Finished second in standings and batting average. First overall for pitching for the whole tournament. The kid's just a beast, so he got like an MVP ring for the tournament, I believe, as well, and they won the tournament. But just something to watch. I'm telling you, this kid is good at like every sport he plays.
Malachi Adams.
Yeah, he's going to be a D1 athlete in something.
Now, is he at 9U? Is he playing underneath Austin Foreman? We'll wait on Tim Adams' response there. You can also, Tim, if you want to, text that into 850-215-6290. But just know this, for all of you parents out there, this is what we're here for. You want a shout out? No free shout outs for businesses, but when it comes down to your kids, to your children, come on. That's why I got into coaching. Well, thankfully, Ryan asked me to do that. But now that I'm in it, it's like, man, youth sports
they're getting a lot better here, too. Like, I see them at the sports complex and stuff. They got some good talent from different areas, so it's cool to see.
100%. Your Mount Rushmore of losers.
Yeah.
I like this because I think we should all at least try to give a loser of the week. Maybe not a Mount Rushmore.
Right. But this one, I got a few. I was driving. I was like, I'm thinking about some stuff.
No, from now on, you have to have 4.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, well, obviously,
at
Mount
least
Rushmore
during football
just,
season. During football season.
Mount Rushmore is obviously, just your 4 on the wall. It's not power ranking.
No.
However, if there was to be a power ranking, number 1 this week would absolutely be Hugh Freeze. Total doorknob comment to say that you would have won 9 times out of 10 or would have won the last 9 of 9. You can't lose to a respectfully horrible Arkansas team by double digits at home and then say, oh yeah, we would have won that game the other 9 times. Like, nice, man. Yeah. And I would have,
with all due respect, keep in mind.
With all due respect,
9 out of 9 other times I would have married Dua Lipa. Like, come on. Like, dude, that's just a total like out of left field comment. Like, especially for like a struggling team and like, I don't know. Hugh Freeze is not, a high character guy necessarily. Has had some
obviously
beleaguered issues where he's gone. But yeah, like a comment like that just blows my mind.
From like a D1 tenured head coach to come out and say something like that, like, dude, you've got no just situational awareness at all.
Yeah, it's basically like when Dabo like turned off taking calls on his radio stations because he couldn't take the heat. So that'd be my number 1.
Oh, so there are power rankings here. Or you're just saying the first one.
My other ones, yeah. Others on the list that I'm trying to remember now that I'm on the spot.
It's tough like that. IU?
Also, no, FSU and Auburn as well, like arguing online about who's better. Like, congrats.
That's going to be a bowl game if they can get to 6.
Like, you won, 14-9 against Cal? Like, that's the standard now after you were a supposed playoff team.
I'm not sure either makes a bowl right now looking at their schedules.
No.
They better. Dude, could you imagine going from, like... from undefeated and left out of the playoff to getting blown out in your bowl game to not even making a bowl game?
I mean, but looking at the schedules, 4 wins for Auburn and 5 more for Florida State.
All right, SMU, do they win that one? I'm actually going to say no. I think Florida State gets whooped this weekend.
Red is on
Red's
the road.
away.
Yeah, they're in Dallas.
LLLL.
I'm gonna say, looking at the schedule,
I think they beat Duke. I think they beat Duke on the road. Does Duke feel strong to you? I mean, I know that they're undefeated. But
I mean, they're just like a better Cal.
But the thing is, it's on the road between Clemson and Miami. Also,
they probably won't make dumb plays. They're a smart kid school.
I'm saying, look at the schedule right now. I predict both to miss the bowl.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, Duke's probably going to be favored by what, like 1.5?
Honestly, on the road.
This is the first time that Florida State hasn't been favored. SMU is a 5.5 point favorite this weekend. SMU is against State.
I put both in the 4 to 8 and 5 and 7 range, just outside of bowl. Like looking at, and that's best case scenario from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It would stink.
Florida State. Who's more likely to make a bowl, Florida State so we just kind of...
Florida State or who?
I was going to say Florida because we just got done talking about Auburn, right?
And Florida State's got an easier road in the ACC, right? Than SEC?
Yeah, you would like to think so.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think SMU takes care of business. I think Clemson takes care of business. I think Florida State.
Hot take.
I think they get Duke. Miami, you just never know, and that's wild to say. I get it, but you just never know.
We can double or nothing the half bet on that one. You want TJU? I'll take Cam Ward.
No, sorry. Yeah. North Carolina. Up in the air, coin flip.
They should beat North Carolina.
Is that not bad though? That I'm sitting here saying that, like, North Carolina just got like 70 hung on.
You got North Carolina with
they didn't
Matt
have
Brown
breaks going into that game.
Yeah.
Don't count out Matt Brown out coaching either one of these coaches and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he's a way better mind, I think, coaching wise.
Is he?
He did.
Well, I mean, look at the talent level. I mean,
I was picking North Carolina to win the All Coast Conference, my man. I was picking North Carolina to win, and there was other people taking North Carolina State. And listen, North Carolina is for racing. That's what that state is for. Is
basketball.
For racing and basketball.
Tobacco Road, baby.
There you go, racing and basketball.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anyway,
on to your next.
My third loser of the week.
Number 3.
Lincoln Riley, man.
Ooh.
Bad favored on the road, and it makes me think. One, LSU's not that good, and USC's not that good. No other team gets beat on that final drive.
His quarterback though has got a lot of toughness.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
No. What were you saying?
Miller Moss, a lot of toughness. He got banged around in that game, and he kept getting back up, and he was getting the crap beat out of him.
I totally agree with that.
You were watching the game then?
Yeah.
I think Lincoln Riley, obviously, Miller Moss actually put them in a deficit because if you look at Michigan scores, they were all on big plays outside of even the last one, right?
Well, the final drive, didn't they go?
The final drive, that's
how many? It was just all run plays.
Boom.
And that's just what happened to that. USC's got a defense.
But USC was down though, what, 10 or so, and then climbed back in and they were in control up until the final. And you just have to give credit to Michigan.
You just got out-coached by the rookie coach, though.
I'm not going to necessarily disagree with you on that. I'll say this much. That was a fun game to watch. It was a fun game to watch.
And it was like one of those times where you're like, okay, I like this expansion with USC in the Big Ten. Like, that is nice. Like, to not see Michigan, coast to Ohio State.
Anytime you lose to a team with 32 passing yards, come on.
Yeah, and they were not having an orgy in the air. It was more on the ground.
Man. Yeah, like, you can't lose to a team that throws for 32 yards.
That's 32 yards.
That's
and here's the other thing, though. That's kind of disheartening a little bit, but what was it? Mullins, Edwards, I mean, those guys were just going off, and I think that them having orgy in the game gave them maybe not a boost, airily speaking, but it gave them a boost of confidence. You got to have that type of mindset to win ball games.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just, thought he might have turned a corner. And maybe just it's a bad Brian Kelly team. I mean, LSU's still not looked great. I didn't think they were impressive against UCLA. Maybe you saw something different. But
no, they haven't been. I mean, they really. You can ask most of their fans right now. They'd probably tell you the same. Like they haven't. They didn't look impressive against their Cupcake Week 2. Obviously, we all saw the South Carolina game, and I mean, even last week they were tied with UCLA for a while. They ended up going on a run to kind of put UCLA away, but UCLA isn't exactly the pinnacle of college football right now.
No, we just blew them out at UCLA.
So it's not going super swimmingly despite being 3-1 for.
I agree, and I think that's a great point. And I also think too, like on top of that, what do you think for Mizzou? Like after that?
Oh wow!
I mean, it'd be one thing if they were at Vandy, but you let Vandy come into your house and take
you to double overtime.
Because I was a huge Mizzou touter before the season.
Me too.
I have $75 on them plus whatever to make the playoffs. So I'm like, you gotta win that game.
It's just, I mean, I think they're living off a lot of hype from last year and in the Rose or the was it the Peach Bowl against Ohio State or whatever the Ohio State Bowl game.
Could be a trap game. Them looking ahead.
Do you think part of it's on Brady Cook though? Because he looks bad.
Yeah, I mean Luther Burden's a stud, and I think they're really missing Cody Schrader. I mean, they've been serviceable in the backfield, but I think Cody Schrader really made that offense kind of go for last year. Cotton Bowl,
yeah, that's what I was saying.
And Theo Weiss is a pretty solid wide receiver for him as well. The same numbers, but it's just there's something that's not quite clicking there with him. And it's funny because a lot of people are saying Drink's a nice candidate for UF to target, and it's he's had one good year. He was on the hot seat going into last year. This year they've been kind of hit or. I mean, they struggle with Boston College at times.
Well, Boston College, I think, is one of the most.
I'm not saying. I mean, I don't
hate
even
to say this because of Bill O'Brien.
I don't
but
necessarily mean that as a knock on Boston College.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Well,
like,
it's a knock
so
on
far
Mizzou.
early this year, like they've not looked like a. I mean,
They kind
top 17. At times.
they kind of are reminiscent of last year FSU. It's kind of just get by. Scrape by, like
I had to fit it in somewhere.
No, it is though. It is like the team that because their schedule's really easy if you look ahead, and I think I mean, granted, maybe it's not that easy if you got to go to 002 with Vandy, but at home.
Well, and the thing is had Vandy beaten, I can't remember if it was Georgia State or Georgia Southern State. All right, and they were on the road for that game, so there is
Ted Turner Field.
That exactly. They were at Turner, which I think is definitely has a different name now, but that's exactly what it. Yeah, that's what it is. But had Vandy done that, had they been undefeated into this game, maybe people give you a little bit of a break. But I think that at the end of the day, like the program Vandy, that it doesn't whistle to you like this is a real good team. Normally, I would say ring the bell, but they've got the whistler for baseball, so I was adding that there. But I don't know, because the last time Vandy went 4-0, they came to take on Bama next. Or Bama went, that game might have been on the road for Bama, and they were holding up signs like, "We want Bama." Like, don't you do that? That's a no.
And ultimately, like winning in this sport is all that matters. But like beating Boston College and Vanderbilt at home in back-to-back weeks by a combined 9 points.
Yeah.
That's not a great look.
And we're gonna see how it plays out. I mean, what Max just said could be.
Who does Mizzou play that's good? Anyone?
I don't have the
They got a bye week this week, so kind of ruins the trap game. But A&M could beat them. Bama should probably beat them. Oklahoma.
Bama, yeah.
I mean,
Bama's
we've seen
got
South Carolina this week.
Yeah, they're going to win probably like 6 touchdowns this weekend. And then Arkansas at the end of the year, like there's some games like
It's trash talk week before with me and
Missouri
Tyler.
could lose like 2 or 3 games this year at this point. Well, I mean, and that's probably about what I had them pegged preseason. Would probably been 10-2 if I was guessing.
10-2, but
does that make the playoff?
I think 10-2. It depends, right? It depends on the other teams around you, and then who are those 2 losses and what are those 2 losses.
Just asking for monetary implications.
I mean, I think as an SEC team at 10-2, you gotta like their shot. You gotta like their chances.
Yeah. Okay.
You just forget about that bet though, because if one day you open up Hard Rock and it's like, all right, then into Venmo you go. That'll be great.
That's where it'll go.
All right. You've got
one more.
Yeah, I had one more.
And then I want a loser from the rest of us.
Yeah, I do. And this is a baseball one, not a football one.
It's okay. It's your Mount Rushmore.
And I got to spread the love since apparently, I've got to target some fan bases. It's gonna fall on the Braves for me.
Oh,
I think,
okay. If you don't mind that mic right there, just cut that one up.
How about chop off?
I think there's a lot of banter. Like, okay, it took X, Y, and Z, all the dominoes to fall for the Phillies to win the division. Like, as the Braves are the Mets regular season boogeyman, the Phillies have been the Braves boogeyman. And I think the Braves, pointing to all these injuries, yes, it sucks, but every team gets injuries. I trust me, it stinks to lose Albies, Acuna, Riley, Strider, Fried for pieces. But, a lot of the guys in the Phillies aren't having their best year, and they're still making do with what they got here.
Making do.
They are, though.
Being the top seed in the National League is, or battling with the Dodgers.
They've ebbed and flowed, too. And I think, they were the hottest team in baseball for a while, where everyone's like, okay, this is the Phillies. And then they cooled off, and I think now they're pretty much back on. And it's good for baseball to have the Mets.
But who have they been missing, though, for...
they've had guys bouncing around. What? They've had Castellanos. Nola was out for a little.
Harper was out just for a little while.
Okay, those are the key words there, a little while.
Trey Turner was out for a few weeks. So I'm saying you had some
was out.
But everyone has that every single year in baseball.
That's what he's saying.
But that's what I'm saying. So, when the Braves are like, oh, we lost. Like, Riley's out for a couple
months.
So
you're coming at the fan base.
I'm like, yeah, it's like, come on.
Oh, I agree 1,000% with you. Yeah.
Plus, the Braves have won a lot. I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because Sunday Night Baseball, I lost my fantasy football or fantasy baseball finals because of a Zach Wheeler quality
start. I'm playing Sam Peebles in a championship right now.
Your guys' championship still going?
Yeah. This is last week right
you
here.
Love the final week of season fantasy. It's where it's so many guys are sitting.
It doesn't matter,
You're a wild man.
I'm a wild man.
You got Michael King on the mound tonight?
I don't know. I need to check.
I lost actually on Zach Wheeler throwing that quality start on Sunday Night Baseball, but it was so cool to see the Mets stadium.
Oh, because he had
its
the
categories
QS.
and that.
I love.
So I lost 5.5 to 4.5.
This was the first year that I did a points one with we had a little league here at ESPN Northwest Florida, and we just did the kind of fantasy football-esque fantasy baseball. I think that. I'm more of a fan of categories. Now, that could also be just because I stunk it up. And also, there was 2 guys who were scored like 300 points a week, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not checking no more.
Like, he kills it, yeah.
Fantasy baseball's or fantasy football's right around the corner. I'll look forward to that. I got better things to do in my time.
Do you think the Braves are going to make it, though?
The season couldn't play out any better, though, right? Like, you've got 3 games to put an exclamation point on, are you going to the playoffs or not? Mm-hmm. If you lose 2 of these games, it's over. You're done. And if you win 2 of them, you're not looking very good.
And if I told you for the first game of the series, or I guess this is the first game of the series, right?
Yeah.
That Schwellenbeck would be the guy you're rolling out.
You guys could have had.
He's good though. He's been good.
They could have started with Freed or Sale, right?
I think that the way that they've played in some of their first games of the series, like in series this year, it's been the offense just is hot. Then there's other 162 games. We haven't played a full 162. We've played 156 to this point, but
I might have to turn on my Twitter notifications for this series for Frank the Tank.
Oh,
I think that might be like prime stuff.
All right, so let me ask you this.
Especially now that the Dolphins are done.
Do we get Frank the Tank back on with us if the Mets lose or if they win?
I think irregardless.
Just
lose
try to
would
get
be more
on.
fun.
I think so, but I don't
more
think
animated.
I don't know if he would come on if they lost.
I think he would, since it's an ESPN affiliate.
Yeah.
It's just the hard thing is ESPN's a little more filtered than Barstool, so he tones it down a little.
He toned it down a lot. I was very proud of him.
Surprised. Yeah, because if you get him going, like biting the little chewer thing, you can get him.
He's awesome, man.
He's authentic. It is what
and he's like
that's not a bit.
I don't think people give him credit for how daggum intelligent he is.
The amount of knowledge he has, it's like him with college football. Like you could be like, oh yeah. Who was like the Heisman in 2002? And he'd be like, oh, yeah, I know who it was. It's Ricky Williams. I don't know.
No, it wouldn't have been Ricky Williams.
2002. Would that be Joey Harrington?
I was thinking Harrington, Oregon.
Harrington didn't win it, right?
Did he get close?
I think.
Was it like, no, not Leinart, 02.
Carson Palmer?
I was thinking somebody over like USC.
Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer!
Tyler the Tank
Bishop.
There it is. Did Joey Harrington win it though?
No, I think he ended up in New York for the Heisman ceremony.
But yeah, it's stuff like that where it's like you ask him any player,
he didn't win.
And he's like, yeah,
he was
that's
the first.
So impressive.
He was the first overall pick, and he got paid. So.
And went to
that's
Detroit,
not winning.
He won on the way to the bank.
That's not.
He was never heard from again.
Exactly. That is not the Heisman at all.
For quarterbacks going to die, Detroit.
I'm just still impressed. That's 22 years ago, and he just nailed that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man.
Give me a second. We got
it. Wait, it was Carson Palmer, right?
He had Google up the whole time. You just didn't know.
I would have been so deflated.
No, it was no Google. We're good.
Check it. Oh, look at there. Why is Carson Palmer all over your Facebook right there?
Some dude lifting on Twitter.
You're leaving us here, Max?
Yeah,
I gotta go. I gotta hit it.
There's a storm coming.
Okay.
Also, in all seriousness, though, I hope everyone stays safe. All things considered, no one floods. Hope everyone has their insurance or everything lined up. And
it's too late now, though, right?
Yeah, now it's too late. Yeah. But I hope
once they named that sucker, it was over.
But
once it gets into the Golf,
I gotta cut a few branches.
I think it's once they name it. That's according to Ryan, and I'm sure that Beth Mulvey has. What do you know what the ruling is? Is it once it gets into the Gulf or once it's named?
This stuff.
I think it varies by insurance companies. And with that being said,
for when
you
they
can
stop,
get insurance.
It's case by case. Like different companies and carriers say they have insurance moratoriums, and that's when you're like, oh. We might be screwed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, just pray because that is all that you can do. You do need to be prepared, but outside of that, there is not one thing that is in your power that can change anything that is about to happen. Just keep your family safe. And I'd like to say this real quick before we go. I see a lot of people with they've closed schools for Thursday. They haven't closed them for Friday. if you want to go. Like, don't worry about school. If a storm is coming, the school's going to be closed on Friday. If not, then you can come back before Friday and you'll get your kid in school.
Yeah, and I'm not a parent, but
Neither am I, so
I would say,
I'm speaking loosely.
I wouldn't be stressing yourself out if your kid's missing school on Friday either way, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be like how, I guess, for growing up in the North and there's snow days and stuff, or like people were worried that there was going to be a snow day. There's teachers playing movies and stuff. Like, there's no way there's going to be,
and I
learn knowledge.
We're speaking as non-parents, but it is one of those things.
Just make the right decision for your family.
Exactly, your family means more. I think I saw someone said it would be better for you to go somewhere and say, "Oh, thank God," rather than having to sit here and deal with certain things and say, "Oh my God." You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 here in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Give us a call or text 850-215-6290. We're back after this break.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're the radio home of the Mosley Dolphins.
Last week, the Mosley Dolphins took down the Escambia Gators 38-13. Next, the 5-0 Dolphins face district rivals, the Milton Panthers. Tune in for live play-by-play with David Hayes live from Milton High School Stadium. Kickoff at 7:30 Friday night. Mosley Dolphin football on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored by Panama City Toyota, Orthopedic Specialist, and Chapman Wealth Management.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida this Tuesday. The rest of the day, mostly sunshine and 88 with a gentle breeze at 10 miles per hour out of the south. Tonight, very light rain and mostly clear skies with lows around 76. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy in the morning but otherwise likely thunderstorms and a temperature near 85. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's time to pick your path and go big, go bold. You can drive away in a new 2024 Telluride from Bill Bird Kia. The 2024 Telluride protects what matters, and it's built for the long haul. Its technology will connect with confidence, and upscale all-around rugged look will take you onto your next adventure. The road is yours. Bill Bird Kia, the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. 20-year, 200,000-mile warranties and Bill Bird Kia warranty.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. Did you know that we do more than just sell some of the finest jewelry in town? We can engrave on your wedding band, locket, Yeti cup, or almost anything. Need your watch battery changed? We can do that too. Our expert will even evaluate your coin collection. And of course, we always pay top dollar for your old gold and silver jewelry. See, there's a lot more to Tracy's Fine Jewelry than a lot of pretty sparkly things. Come and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
You want a big-time sports show? Tune in for the Afternoon Underdogs.
We're live and local here.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
We need one more SEC team in there to shake things up.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, and Conor McGregor's not going to fight in 2024, but in 2025, he plans to bring his talents back to the octagon. Now, with that being said, we don't got much time here. What are we thinking, Tyler? Do we make the picks right? No, you're still making your picks, so we're gonna wait on that. We'll bring that in maybe the 5:20 hour. We will be going till 6 o'clock this evening, or 5:57, and then we're gonna kick it over to the Atlanta Braves, and they're gonna be taking on the New York Metropolitans. And all I can say is, I'm not even gonna say chop on. I'm gonna say met it up, baby. Met it all the way up and take the Braves to the playoffs. Here's the other thing: the Braves could get a little help from the Diamondbacks. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. However, in order for the Braves to get help from the Diamondbacks, they're going to have to win games. So we'll see how it plays out. Losers, let's do a little winners, losers action. With that being said, Tyler, give us a loser of the week in college football.
Man, I hate to do it to them, but Kansas State.
I was thinking that.
Losing by 30. I mean, I know BYU is kind of a weird place to play. 10:30 at night kickoff, or I mean, maybe I guess it was 9:30 kickoff for them locally.
Probably 8:30 Mountain Time.
Yeah, it's probably. I'm talking about for like K-State, I guess. But like, I mean, so that game. I'm sure nobody listening to this watched any of the game, but it was 6-3 with like 2 minutes left to go in the first half. Fumble return for a touchdown by BYU. Next possession, interception by K-State, and then BYU scored 2 touchdowns. I think in the first like 3 or 4 minutes of the second half. So you're talking in that 6 minute or that 8 minute window on either side of the first half, second half start. BYU put up 28 points. And at that point, K-State's just not a team, built to come from behind. And I mean, that's a big loss on the road for a team that's wanting to win a Big 12 title, wanted, a chance to make that 12-team playoff. And just not a great look overall.
All right, how about this one? How about Matt Rule, Nebraska losing Illinois, man?
Ooh.
That was a game that, you would have thought Matt Rule, would have won the coaching battle. Was it usually, this is like, second year, he usually takes off. Yeah. Although places been before, like Baylor and Temple, and he has like a big jump. So, kind of disappointing, I think, Nebraska losing that game at home.
Oh, man, where do I want to put this tree at?
Not a tree. Maybe do an eclipse, dude. And not just throw some shade from a tree.
Scorched earth. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you 2 losers. All right? And I loved Max's final one. I was thinking he was talking about the Braves organization, but once I realized he's talking about the fan base, there has been a lot of us Braves fans who have acted like spoiled children because the Braves aren't playing up to the standard that they've set. However, they're playing good baseball for the most part. Yes, the wild card is, in our grasp, but we're over 500, and who's playing for him right now? We just got Ozzie Albies back. We went forever without our starting center fielder out there. Jared Kelnick is a new Brave, so he doesn't really count as kind of carrying the torch. No Austin Riley. Your shortstop is Arcia. And no offense to that. That's the guy Alex Anthopoulos wanted, but my goodness, that you look across the board at injuries, with Spencer Strider and Ronald Acuna being out, it's like, listen, if we don't make the playoffs, we still had a very, very good season, and you have to give 1,000,000% credit to Brian Snitker for being able to mold this thing together. Did AA go out at the trade deadline and do exactly what you wanted? Probably not, but that guy's been so good at getting the right pieces in the puzzle together that we got a 2021 World Series because of it. Now, on to my real losers. I just loved that point there from Max Delighten. I'm going to go to the NFL here and holdouts. Brandon Ayuk can't catch a ball. 3 drop passes, I believe, in the last game, if I heard Ryan Mulvey earlier today correctly. CeeDee Lamb and Dak, what's wrong with their chemistry? Why haven't they been able to find a rhythm? Jamar Chase, did they connect last night? Yes, they did, but would they be better if Jamar Chase was showing up to camp for practice to build that chemistry? Because guess what? You can sit out there and throw a ball and throw routes all day long, but until you're doing it against a defense, until you're doing it in a certain sequence, until all of you guys are on the same page when it comes to snap counts, terminology, all of that good stuff. Have they been in the same offense? Yes, I'll give you that. But actually, I think that's not that the offense has changed, because Zach Taylor has been calling the plays. But at the end of the day, Brian Callahan was the OC, right? And so now he's gone. So now these guys are answering to a different human being. That changes things. And you're over there worried about your money, which you already make a ton of money. And yes, I get that. You've got to get the money when it's available to you. But Jamar Chase, you got 2 years before your contract's up. CeeDee Lamb, you're like Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. The fact that they were able to get all of those guys paid is unbelievable. But you could have been there for your team, man. And now, what do we see because of that? We see football to some extent suffer because of selfish selfish decisions of a few individuals. And so I'll say that for the contract holdouts, that is going to be my number one loser, because I think it's really starting to rear its ugly head. And I don't think until about week 5 or 6, that's when you see, oh, okay, these guys really are really good football players. We know you're good football players, man. There's no doubt about that. It just takes a little time.
Man, and I hate to keep piling on this guy, but is Bryce Young not one of the biggest losers of the week? For Andy Dalton to come out there and put up the numbers he did, like, and
it's got to be.
I mean, the Raiders are probably equally as big of losers at that point because you let Andy, but like for Andy Dalton to come in and just act like that offense was phenomenal.
But Andy Dalton didn't have the last season that Bryce had. You know what I'm saying? In the start of this year either, though. And you know what I mean? In a manner of speaking, like, he's got an opportunity to, like, reinvent himself here, where Bryce Young, I mean, like, he just had no opportunity, no chance. I mean, he was just thrown to the Wolves last season, and, like, you know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. But I'm just saying, like, you know, Bryce Young, they gave up all this for you. You know, and a lot of people are like, well, look at what Bryce Young's got to work with. It's not great. It's not like his wide receivers aren't good, his running backs aren't good. But then for, like, that offense to go out and put up 30-something points, 40 points.
Right, again, but Dalton's been in the league. He's a veteran. You're asking, you got another guy, a kid, okay, who, like, came from a fortunate situation playing in Alabama. Let's just face it, with all the talent and everything around him, just winning culture and everything like that. Then he get tossed over to Carolina. That's just a total mess. Ownership all the way down, right? And like we've talked about earlier, it's all about where you land as a player, especially as a quarterback in the league. And if you fall in the right situation, you can flourish. But if you go and you have talent and you go to the right spot, you can totally get killed. I mean, like, look at the Carr family.
Look at the Carr family. Hey, Derek's looked good up until week 3.
Well, again, but he found a spot finally. But like early on in his career and David's career as well, man, just got the crap.
David was,
you know,
guy got destroyed.
Like over 100 sacks in a season. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just like totally destroyed, dude.
That is, I cannot imagine what it felt like going to sleep every Sunday, every Sunday evening.
And that's back when you could hit the quarterback too. Like that wasn't even.
Yeah, no doubt. That wasn't even with the rules they have today.
Real quick, my other loser is going to be Auburn. Just the fan base. You sit there and you get so excited after Alabama A&M, and I'm not throwing shade here. I hurt for you guys to a very, very small percentage of my heart.
I was a pretty big, like, I was pumping Auburn up a little bit preseason. Yeah. Like I was going to believe in the system with Hugh Freeze year 2. I think I had Auburn going like 9-3, and then now I'm not sure they're going to make a bowl game.
Yeah.
I mean, that hurts for me as a prognosticator of football.
Yeah, prognosticator. Hey, that's what we need to get Tyler Bishop a lower third that says Tyler Bishop, college football prognosticator.
But then at the same time, like for Arkansas, I'm happy for Sam Pittman, like because this was a game they needed to win if they wanted to be bowl eligible.
Yeah.
They've still got to win one more. Be pretty good upset for them to still hit that mark because they got La Tech and they've got.
And their quarterback's not what everybody thought he was.
Oh, well, I mean, he's what a lot of people thought he was. It's just not very good. But Arkansas's at 3-1 now. They've got Louisiana Tech and one other Mississippi State. I think they should be able to win that game. So now they've got to knock off like a LSU or a Texas A&M or something like that, but like they've got a legitimate chance at a bowl, which I don't think a lot of people had them going bowling to start the year.
Yeah,
so.
No, especially with the loss of KJ Jefferson.
Yeah.
That and I really just hurt for the Auburn fans to a small percentage, as I said. But where I'm laughing at it is the deja vu of the whole story. Alabama A&M, you hang a bunch up, and it's like, man, Peyton Thorne is back, and then. All right, Cal happens. You bench him after 4 interceptions. You go to Hank Brown. Hank Brown plays up against New Mexico. It's like, golly, we got a good quarterback in Hank Brown. Why didn't we just start out with him? And then the interceptions start to roll.
Which fan base do you think would rather have their coach back more, Florida and Mullen or Auburn and Gus?
That sounds like a 5 o'clock question if I ever did hear one. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and it's just a happy Tuesday up here on a Tangent Tuesday in the Doghouse. Give us a call or text 850-215-6290.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the inside drive.
Obviously, some of the talk conversations right now are currently tropical. It hadn't been named yet. It's Tropical Cyclone 9, soon to be, what is it, Helene or something like that? Yeah.
Helene.
Yeah, every time I hear that, I always want to sing Joe.
Join Ryan Mulvey.
Thank you very little.
Middays 11 to 1 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday evening. As we head into tonight, very light showers and mostly clear skies, and a low of 76 with a light breeze coming out of the east at 7 miles per hour. For tomorrow morning, light showers and a temp near 84. In the afternoon and evening, numerous thunderstorms and light showers and a high around 85. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
WGSX Lynn Haven WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing KHS TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. All your local favorites. Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC. Plus, catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks. ESPN, the NFL Network, and the NBA Network. It's more than just sports. KHS offers 50-plus movie channels, 150-plus entertainment channels, all your favorite news networks, and watch thousands of movies and TV shows on demand. All for just $40 a month with a one-time $2 billing fee. And you can watch up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score KHS TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the TV logo. That's ESPNPC.com and click the TV logo.
We're live and local. From Camp Helen State Park to the historic Martin Theater.
Definitely time to let our hair down and have some fun.
It's the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. And that would be the final hour. And coming up next after the Braves, it's going to be, or after the Braves, coming up next after the Afternoon Underdogs, it is the Braves taking on the Mets over there in Atlanta. Hopefully them Braves can get hot and come up with not just a series win. Look, that's the Bobby Cox mantra, right? Just win 2. Just win 2. Not saying that that's not going to cut it, but you need to take you need a sweep here. You need a sweep here, Atlanta. So let's see what we can do. Our biggest series of the year. Biggest series of the year. And then you got the Kansas City Royals to close it out, which is not an easy team to play. The only thing I think you could hope for is that Kansas City's out of playoff contention at that point, and maybe they
rest Bobby Witt.
Yeah. But then that stinks for the listeners. We're sitting up there to go watch it on the 28th, which I have 4 tickets to give away. One of our listeners, obviously with the storm, that is paramount. He's not going to be able to go. So I've got 4 tickets to the September 28th Kansas City Royals Atlanta Braves game. We're not playing a competition for it or anything. You just text me at 850-215-6290, and I'd love to be able to send you guys up there to check out the Atlanta Braves and the Kansas City Royals. Preferably, if we can find someone who's never been to a Braves game and would like to go, that would make my daggum week, man. I love being able to help people experience things for the first time, man. That means a lot to me. All right. Caveman Rick, also, do you have that sheet over there, the Race to Talladega?
Which sheet? With all the names?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Well, I don't need the names. I need you to flip that page over to that page right there, and I need you to give me the rundown.
Okay, so the Race to Talladega starting Monday. Listen to Coach Abe Sales Show Monday mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 for the keyword of the day. Then you text that keyword and your racing name to 850-215-6290. Then you listen at 12:40 and at 5:40. And if we announce your name, you go to the phone and call us back. How long it takes you to call us back is your qualifying time. Guess what? The fastest qualifying time wins tickets to the Yellowwood 500 and passes to the United Rentals 250 on October 5th. As well as all qualifiers instantly win gift cards for Rudy's Barbecue, and 12 packs from Buffalo Rock.
All right, great stuff. Thank you so much, Caveman Rick. Looks like we do have someone that wants to go to that Braves game, so I'm going to hook you up, Skylar, with the person who's giving away the tickets, and you guys will get your emails all sorted out and all that good stuff, and I hope that you have a great time over there in Atlanta. I almost said Miami because for some reason college football is on the brain. I don't know what it is. I don't. It's just wild. But yeah, we've got the AL race is getting really exciting too in wild card terms. I know that this isn't a norm to be talking about this on a Tuesday, but real quick, I had to bring out the wild card standings for the American League because we don't talk about them as much being a national, a Braves affiliate. But you got the Orioles on top. They look to be secure there at the top of the order. But how about the Detroit Tigers? They're a half game ahead of the Kansas City Royals. So the Royals and the Braves right now, depending on what happens in the Mets-Braves series, are both going to be playing for their playoff lives, which means this. This is what this means, ladies and gentlemen. For the next two series, regardless if you know this or not, these are playoff series. In this first one right here, you don't necessarily lose you will still play another game beyond Thursday evening. You still got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But if you want to get to the postseason, these next 6 games are some of the it's a position the Atlanta Braves haven't really been in about 2 years.
But with the Braves situation too, going up against the Mets, this is one of your rivalries. This is 2 games. This isn't 1 game. You know what I'm saying? Because you're taking that win away from them as well. So each one of these is really multiplied and doubled. Same way in hockey, when you go by points and you're looking to take away points from somebody you're trying to catch in the standings, really they're not 2-point games, they're 4-point games because they can change that much, swing in the standings.
Yeah, that is a great point there, Caveman Rick. All right, let's dive into some college football here with our college football prognosticator here, Tyler Bishop. No, that's it. That's sticking, bro. Swaggy T in the building with us. It's David Hayes, Tyler Bishop, Caveman Rick. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. We're taking your calls and text at 850-215-6290. Holler at us, man. Talk some sports with us. We love you guys so much. In fact, I got to read a text from Michigan State Bruce here. He said, "You heard it here first. Hear the roar in 24. Tigers win the World Series."
Good luck with it.
I'll say this, Caveman Rick. I would not be surprised. That's been the theme. If the Royals, if the Tigers, if the Orioles make a run to the World Series, I'm not going to say win, but Phillies, 2022 was it?
Years ago,
yep, had the great run.
We were the last.
Then last year, the Diamondbacks had the great run. I think it could happen. I think the Rangers last year, I believe they were, I don't think that they won the West. I believe it was the Astros, right? And the Rangers, they got real hot in that series against the Rays and then just kind of worked their way up. But college football, here we come. All right. Let me see what I want to ask you first. How about all right, what was the biggest surprise of week 3? Or what was it, week 4?
It's technically
week 4.
Week 4. Oh,
that's 0, man. Just
kind of messes with.
It ain't got no value.
I just look at NFL week 3, so go back 1 week.
Yeah.
Or,
exactly.
add a week.
Add a week. Oh man. I think I don't know if this is the biggest surprise, but I think if you're a Florida fan, you got to be happy going into Starkville and putting up 45 on Mississippi State. Granted, Mississippi State's far from a great team, but I think that's important. But I think I'm probably most disappointed in USC. We talked about a little bit earlier how one-dimensional Michigan was. And how Texas went up there, and I'm not saying USC is as good as Texas, but for USC to struggle the way they did, and again, all one-dimensional, 32 yards of passing yards in major college football should not be a thing. You shouldn't win a top 20 or a top 20 matchup, top 18, whatever they were, with 32 yards passing in today's football.
And today, but see, I think that's the beauty is
I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying as USC at a certain point, what are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
But they just, again, man, that was just pick 6 by Miller Moss, and then 3 gashing runs. Yes, they weighed they laid their weight on them late in the game. But still, man, if you make one, like I'm not saying USC was in control of that game because it was just a good football game. Some would say maybe a bad football game, but how do you watch football and be like, that was a bad football game? That was there's good things that happen. There's bad things that happen. That ball is oblong and it bounces in so many different ways all the time. So, I don't know. That game for me was, it was the epitome of Big Ten football. You know what I mean?
And
I
really
don't mean
you're
that
watching a Big Ten game.
Ugly.
I don't mean that. I don't mean that.
But I mean, it is like in a manner of speaking. Like how you even commented.
Boring.
We were talking. It's on par with like golf or something for like a guy to sit on the couch and take a nap.
It can be boring.
So come on now.
It can be boring. All right, it can be boring, but that's the kind. But I like that kind of football, though.
No, and I feel you. At times it is. You know what I'm saying? Relaxing and stuff. But like usually it's not most people's like cup of tea what they're looking for.
Right, and that's just first quarter type stuff. And again, I was working on I went to sleep. I know that guy's voice. I do tell you what. But that's, for me, it's one of those things where, that's not one of those things, what am I trying to say? I didn't go to sleep Saturday until 8 a.m. in the morning. So, so there's that, you know. I had to take a nap at some point, Caveman Rick. Here we go. What about the biggest letdown? What was it? Wait, actually, what was the biggest surprise of the week to you, Caveman Rick?
Surprise? Not in a good one, probably in a bad one. You're talking about like letdowns and stuff. Like, you know, how about like A&M basically scratching out a win against Bowling Green, stuff like that, like close teams, or like Clemson having trouble with NC State.
That's not the case, though. They didn't they beat them by 24, but the score
for them to
was
score 30 something on them, though. I mean, like,
but it was like 49-7.
You know what I mean? I didn't watch the game. I'm just still saying when you look at the outcome, it's kind of like,
You know what? I'm gonna say mine is a good surprise. How about Navy beating Memphis
and putting up 45 points?
Yeah,
NC State put up 21 in the fourth quarter.
What does that say about FSU after they lost to
Memphis? I think it's kind of saying what we've been.
You know, I'm just saying. I remember like seeing that on Saturday too and thinking about that, like, whew. You know,
I mean, I think all of us kind of have a partial, like when you see a Service Academy team win like that.
A team
like,
that doesn't pass the ball, they just run it down your throat.
But yeah,
they're running the wishbone.
That's not great for. I mean, that's not great for Memphis. Obviously, not great for Florida State by proxy at that point. But no, I love seeing anytime the Service Academy can pull off a pretty big win. Unless you're like an Army guy rooting against Navy or whatever.
I still think that those. I feel like if you're an Army guy, and I don't know this, so please, if you're a service member, please let me know how you feel. I feel like if Navy's playing against anyone, like you're rooting, even if you're an Army or you're an Air Force guy, I feel like you're rooting for the service academies against everyone else. But when you play against each other.
I can't wait till we have a Space Force football team. You know what I'm saying?
That's essentially the Air Force, I believe.
I'm just being smart.
What about Northern Illinois blowing it against Buffalo?
Oh, yeah.
They had a chance to run the table, have a chance to be that fifth conference champion in the playoff, and you lose to Buffalo at home.
So who looks like the favorite now to be that G5 team? I think Boise State can put a stamp on it this week if they get undefeated Washington State. If they beat Washington State, and this game is in Boise State, if they can beat Washington State, I think that they could put a stamp on it. I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, but they've got the best running back in college football in Genty.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, like, their loss as of now is to Oregon, which is still a top 7, 8, 9 team, whatever they're at this week. I mean the betting odds has Boise State as the favorite. I mean, Memphis was up there until they lost, and they may still be up there. But I mean, it's going to be interesting if we end up with like a 2 or 3 loss G5 school getting an auto bid into the playoff. And I think that's what's going to be. People are going to be like, "Why are we wasting our time?" If it's an undefeated, and even if it's Boise State with 1 loss to Oregon, I think people are going to be kind of okay with it. But like, this is a year you wish there was a UCF running the table or a Cincinnati running the table, a TCU from the early playoff days, like Utah before they joined the Pac, the Pac, now the Big 12. I think you wish there was one of those teams this year. It doesn't look like we're going to have one that has really kind of proven as a chance outside of Boise State running the table. I think this.
You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida's David Hayes, Tyler Bishop, Caveman Rick. 850-215-6290 is the number to call or text. I can understand that sentiment. I think that we go a couple of years Like, all right, we're only doing 1 year of 12 teams, right? We're only doing
2 years, right?
Is it 2 years? Is it 2026 we start with 14?
I think so.
For some reason, I don't know. When I read that notification about 6 or 7 months ago, whenever it was, I was in the store, and I'm just like, I almost throw my phone in the store because I'm being facetious. Obviously, I wasn't going to do that. I don't want to crack my screen. When I read that, though, I'm like, all right, so we had to go for 10 years with 4 teams, with everyone saying, can we go to 8? Can we go to 8? We do 1 year, 12. Don't even see how it works out. You know what, boys? 14 sounds
That's
good.
like buying a new car and ordering it, and before you even drive it once, you selling it, and then you're buying the next year model. Or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's essentially that in a nutshell. That's very analogous of you there, Caveman Rick. Yeah.
And like with the Pac-12 dying in that same time frame, it just feels even more of an awkward time to make that. Like you go down to 4 power conferences, so like the 4 teams is perfect as far as the top 4. So like it just seemed like even a more weird time because now you're having less conferences, so now you're going to have less conferences having more playoff spots. Like it was a weird time for.
Well, the Pac-12's coming back in 2026. I don't know what they're going to be. Pac-6, Pac-8, whatever.
Even a 6-pack. I said 6-pack would be nice, or 12-pack.
Reincarnation of the AAC or something like that. But
the AAC, but there already is the AAC is still around.
Yeah, it's still now. It's
All American or
Conference
American
US,
Athletic.
They should
make it Big West
rebrand it
instead of the Big East.
There you go.
Need to rebrand it, rename it, come up with something nice and clever, something cool. You know what I mean? Like we were just talking about 6-pack, 12-pack.
West Side Football Conference.
Right on.
Yeah, I like it.
Hey, there you go, boy. You make Tupac the spokesperson.
You get Jameis Winston eating W's over there.
That's the logo.
That's the logo.
The logo.
Eating W's.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. Leave it up to us, man. Oh my goodness!
We could be the marketing department right there.
If they ever put us on a panel of anything that's serious, people would be like, "Yeah, where are these boys from? Where are these
like
boys
I said before
from?"
on this show, man, I'm solutions oriented, and I'll solve them for you for a nominal fee.
And for a nominal fee, you can also check out my business called Oriented Solutions. With that being said, let's go to the biggest letdown of the week. Tyler, who was the biggest letdown of the week?
We've covered a few. I mean, the biggest loser already.
Okay, yeah, we did do that. But what was something that you were looking for that let you down?
I think
obviously as a Georgia fan, you guys were off.
We were off this week, but
that was a letdown.
I mean that's always a big letdown. We ain't playing nobody this week either, so it's it's a disappointment as well. But I think Tennessee. I think if you're a Tennessee fan, like you got to be a little disappointed. They never really put that game away. Like you arguably said they probably should have. And I heard people saying like, Josh Heupel knew that Oklahoma wasn't going to score, so he took his foot off the pedal. You're telling me that the guy who kicked an onside kick against Kent State up 30-something points in the first half let his foot up off the gas against his alma mater where
it was Georgia, Kentucky,
where he was thrown under the bus by Bob Stoops 6 years ago, whatever it was. You're telling me that guy let his foot? No, you can try to sell that story elsewhere. I'm not saying that even necessarily a knock against Tennessee, but I think if you're a Tennessee fan, if you want to try to truly establish yourself as like the team to beat, a team to beat in the SEC or the college football playoff, like you need to be able to kind of bury an Oklahoma team that was out of the game. And granted, they ended up winning still by 10 points, but I think they really could have put the nail in the coffin that they never really did. And partially, good on Venables for keeping that game closed. Maybe he made some defensive adjustments that Tennessee wasn't able to counter or whatever it is. But I think if you're a Tennessee fan, to take that next step in the Josh Heupel era, you got to start, like I said, just burying those types of teams, letting them. Because it could have gotten real interesting. That 2-point conversion was called back on a holding or illegal hands to the face after their first touchdown. And then all of a sudden now it's a little weird. But obviously, you still get the double-digit victory on the road, so that's all that really matters. But if you're a Tennessee fan, I think you want to see them just finish that off a little bit better.
All right, Caveman Rick, do you have something that'll let you down?
Yeah, mine's like it's more than just this weekend. It's a trend for like the last few weeks. This is NFL, but it's everybody being injured and not being able to play. There's such
that's a letdown.
Just an abundance of all these star players for fantasy and just the games you're watching.
Oh, you're going NFL more so?
NFL,
okay.
More so than anything else. But because probably lack of preseason.
What's that 49ers running back's name?
Mason?
Yeah.
No, the one that's injured that's flying to Germany.
CMC.
Luke McCaffrey's brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, I mean, like,
Hopefully
you got guys like that, A.J. Brown, dudes like, that were supposedly only going to be injured like a small amount, maybe miss a week, and now they're like missing like, weeks and going on the IRs and stuff like that. So, it's menacing, man.
Maybe we need to wait till week 8 for fantasy drafts from now on.
What they need to do is they need to get off their rears and they need to play like play preseason games.
Well,
get
but
out there
does that change what was that?
You're not
what's going on with CMC though, because CMC never even played.
No, maybe not necessarily with him, but like.
But it helps us as fantasy owners know
that too.
He's not.
I'm just still saying it's like. During preseason, you're not going full speed 100%, right? You're kind of working yourself into a groove. When the season starts, you can't do that. It's like you have to go now. You know what I'm saying? These games count. They all matter. So you're not giving yourself an opportunity to kind of, take it easy and kind of ease your way into the season.
I will say that one thing I feel like teams have substituted, if you will, and I'm not a big fan of it, but I get it. And we're probably not too far away from these being fully televised products, is the not intra-squad scrimmages, but, where you're playing a team in preseason and y'all spend the week practicing against each other and play each other twice in scrimmage games, if you will. But still, even that is
you're not going full speed in a scrimmage, and I think
I don't think you should. But that's what he's saying too, is that you don't need to be going full speed in preseason games, but you're closer to 90% or 85% than you are 50%. So I don't know. I think that's a good take. My biggest letdown is actually going to be Oklahoma State. I thought with them being at the house against Utah, Cam Rising comes in, throws one pass, boom, they go to the backup in Wilson, I believe. I thought Oklahoma State with last year's Doak Campbell award winner, Doak Walker, Doak Walker award winner last year, and Ollie Gordon, I thought that they'd be a little bit more of a force to be reckoned with, but Utah got the job done on the road, and that's the biggest. I was high on Oklahoma State, and they let me down. So that's not like they let me down, like, oh my gosh, can't believe it. It's just
well, they kind of did. I think we all picked them too.
Well, most of us did.
Utah. So.
Most of us did. We had Coach Manley and Leanne had some really good picks in college football. The rest of us were like 500 or worse, to be honest. But we're doing good at our confidence picks.
Sir.
Ain't that right, Tyler Bishop, who is with Caveman Rick and David Hayes. And together, the trio we comprise to be the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a quick time out. When we get back, Tyler and Max are going to be making their picks.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
The Atlanta Braves playoff chances are on the line, and you can cut the tension with a knife.
Everybody's safe, and the Braves take the lead.
Atlanta trails the Mets by 2 games for the final wild card spot, and tonight at Truist, it's going to be a pressure cooker as the Braves kick off a 3-game series versus the New York Mets. Coverage starts at 6 right here on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday evening. As we head into tonight, very light showers and mostly clear skies, and a low of 76 with a light breeze coming out of the east at 7 miles per hour. For tomorrow morning, light showers and a temp near 84. In the afternoon and evening, numerous thunderstorms and light showers and a high around 85. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
That Cajun Place is your LSU and Saints football headquarters. Saints and LSU fans, wear your team colors and score a free Jell-O shot when your team scores a touchdown. Only at That Cajun Place. Get $5 pitchers on select draft beers during all live football games. Catch all the games at once with the NFL package on 27 large TVs at That Cajun Place. And the best wings on the beach. The locals' favorite, That Cajun Place.
Life can take us so many places. And at Panama City Toyota, we're here to make sure every drive is worth every minute.
Maybe you want a fun, fuel-efficient car for everyday driving. Or you need a dependable vehicle that really gets the job done. Sometimes it's all about answering the call of the wild. And when you're ready to shop, reserve your vehicle online and choose your options. Or we'll help you in person, even if you started the process at home.
Whatever works for you,
always works for us.
Are you thirsty?
Oh, yeah, baby. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Hello.
Hello. Call or text now.
Hello.
850-215-6290.
Is anyone there?
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. You're tuned into ESPN Northwest Florida. You got to listen to the Coach James Hale Show to enter the race. 7:15 and 8:15 in the morning. They're going to give you a keyword. They may not tell you this, but I'm telling you this right now. Send your racing name in with it. Then you got to listen back to the Inside Drive at 12:40. The Afternoon Underdogs at 5:40. If we announce your name, race to the phones. Call us back. How long it takes you to call back is your qualifying time. The two fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to the Yellowwood 500 and passes to the United Rentals 250 on October 5th. All qualifiers instantly win a Rudy's Barbecue gift card and a 12-pack from Buffalo Rock, the race to Talladega from ESPN Northwest Florida. Lynn Haven constituents, if you experience structural flooding during the storm, the city needs to know immediately. There's been an email set up specifically for this, and the email is storm@cityoflynnhaven.com. That is via Lynn Haven Commissioner Seat 1. Sam Peoples. I didn't want to say Lynn Haven Commissioner because I know he's not the commissioner per se, but so I was just trying to get that right. Sam Peoples, though, and he is a Afternoon Underdog himself, a contributor here for ESPN Northwest Florida. If there's any other things that we need to be announcing for you guys, hey, that's what we're here for. I try to do my due diligence via research, but I got a lot of things going on over here as far as what goes out on the air and all of that good stuff. So if I can help you, help me help you. With that being said, Tyler Bishop, let's get into our picks for this week.
Yes, sir. Real quick, I saw some on Twitter during the break. It's just said that CMC's coming back in week 9 since he's going to Germany. For that had me pretty good. That was...
I was not ready because, as soon as you said week 9, I'm like, that's a little play on words, isn't it? Because you're like, oh man.
Another reason why in fantasy football drafts I really hate having the first overall pick. Stuff like that is just the worst.
Who expects Caveman Rick to be the serious one in that particular instance? We're over here making fun of.
Spoke like a true CMC over that.
No, I mean I don't know.
He's not.
Okay. I'm not. I'm just still saying.
AG, I believe, drafted him first overall. The boomer bust.
I've had leagues before where I've lost Adrian Peterson in the first game or the second game where I had him first overall pick. Another year, this was probably 13 years ago. Priest Holmes. I think I lost him week 1 or week 2 as well.
I like that.
And I ended up winning that year too, which was pretty crazy after losing him first overall pick. But I just sometimes it just gets you,
I can't remember where I seen it, but I saw the intros from the Super Bowl between, I believe it was either the Bears and the Colts or the Colts and the Saints. Joseph Adai.
Oh, I remember.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How about that name, bro?
LSU kid.
Yeah, LSU. Absolutely, man. That's I love that game. Name a running back that you've
Edgerrin
forgotten
James
about.
would have been better though.
Oh yeah, no, Edge was. It's so funny because as a Titans fan, hated the Colts, but my neighbor, my friend, growing up, he was a Colts fan, so I knew so much about the Colts, and I've always been this is why it's funny for me. There's someone who said I throw shade or whatever, and it's just it's funny to me because I've always been a fan of. Well, I'm realistic, right? And if you're a good football player, I'll say why I hate you, and if I say I hate you because you're winning, that means you're good. I hate Ohio State because they are a great football program. There is no doubt about it. The Georgia Bulldogs are starting to become the Alabama of yesteryear, if you will. It hasn't necessarily gotten to that, and this Saturday is going to be some proven grounds, if you will. I dislike Auburn not because they're a great football program, because that's in my blood. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I will always give my explanation on if I dislike something, because guess what? 99% of things that happen on this earth, I like them. You know why? Because God created them, and that's just my job.
Another OG Colt, real quick. Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk, man, more of a Ram than he was a Colt, but
well, he made his his household.
Yeah,
name
he made his name with the Rams, but that's what I'm saying. But yeah, absolutely, I love that, man. I mean, there's so many. That game is so fun to me. Name a guy that you haven't heard about in forever, because we're getting to the point where names like Wes Welker are forgotten.
That's what's scary. Like guys we grew up watching, it's like, oh yeah, I never even knew. Like,
I just remember the guys that made an impact for a short while, like a Mike Allstott.
Man, I had his jersey.
Jeremy Shockey. He was a little while, just like dudes that were not only flash in the pan, but maybe 3 seasons where they were 2-3 seasons, pretty good big guys.
You know who was a flash in the pan and then came right back like some bacon grease? Jimmy Graham.
Yeah,
he was.
Well, he went to Seattle and everybody thought him and Russ were just.
Yeah,
and he just was awful.
Yeah, but then he came back last year, right? Last year, I think he came back to the Saints.
Yeah.
It was like, Jimmy Graham with a touchdown out of nowhere.
I'm surprised he hadn't ended up in Denver with Sean Payton.
Oh, yeah. True, how about that, man? I mean, I think Sean Payton's still looking for his Denver-esque Taysom Hill.
Yeah,
that's fair.
We'll see if he can find one. All right, we've got a Friday night game, man. Those Fox games have been pretty fun on Friday evening so far. Washington is at Rutgers. Rutgers having themselves an underrated season. It's just getting started, but I think 70% of people were taking Virginia Tech over Rutgers, and I'm like, not so fast, my friend. Washington Rutgers. Max Delyden is going with, I was going to say the Big Ten team here, but they're both Big Ten teams. He's got Rutgers here. Rutgers is a 2.5 point favorite, total sitting at 44.5.
This strategy bit me in the butt last week, but I like home teams on Friday night games. They went 0-2 last week, but hey, we won't talk about that. But yeah, give me Rutgers and the Fighting Schianos.
Oh, this next one is tough. I haven't made my mind up. It was a guy that Tyler started singing his praises of, and then if Tyler puts his stamp on someone, we don't agree about everything.
No.
Me and Tyler don't. But there's some things where I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm with you there. And that would be Avery Johnson, the quarterback for Kansas State. Not his greatest performance, but just a heck of a performance by the Cougars. And they seem to always, not just BYU, but Cougars in general, seem to always perform well. Oklahoma State at Kansas State. Kansas State here, a 4.5 point favorite.
Yeah, 2 teams coming off a disappointing loss. I'm going to ride K-State one more time this season. If they let me down, then I'll have to start reevaluating some things on their front. But I think you get embarrassed like that on the road. You come back home to Manhattan, the Little Apple. I think you got to pull this one out if you want to try to start salvaging the rest of your season. Not that their season's gone down the tubes, but I think you're still fighting for that Big 12 and playoff berth. I think you got to win this one.
There you go. All right, we'll move on to a big one here in the ACC for one team and just the realm of the college football playoffs for the other. 15 versus 16, Louisville on the road taking on Notre, also known as Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 6-point favorite here, but they have put on some shellacking since their loss to NIU. What you got here as Max had Kansas State in the previous game, Notre Dame in this game.
I'm taking the Cards on the road. I mean, I can't. I'm not a huge believer in Freeman as a game day coach at this point. He's had some very questionable losses. So give me the Fighting Brahms.
All right, there you go. We'll move on to our next game here. That's going to be Oklahoma on the road at Auburn. Oklahoma just a 2.5 point favorite in this game after they, stuck within 10 of Tennessee at the house in their first SEC home game. Now their first SEC road game in a true test at Jordan-Hare.
Yeah, Jordan-Hare is a weird place. I can't say that enough.
They almost made it real weird against Arkansas, didn't they?
Real weird over there, but what Hugh Freeze has going on with that quarterback room, him throwing players under the bus, not a great look. Does he start losing the locker room? Maybe I'm reading a little too much in that. Maybe it's a little bit of a reaction. But give me Oklahoma, a new quarterback on the road. That true freshman is going to be starting this week. Marshall.
All right.
Who's Max got?
Max is going with the Sooners of Oklahoma. Then we'll move on to a Big Ten game as number 19 Illinois travels to Happy Valley to take on the number 9 Penn State Nittany Lions. We are using the spread here. I know it's not highlighted in yellow. Penn State needs to beat Illinois by 18.5. The total sitting at 47.5.
I'm not sold Penn State can beat Illinois, or beat a competent team by 20 points. So essentially, give me the fighting Brett Bielema's.
All right, there you go. We've got Colorado at UCF. We're also going to use this spread here. Normally, I try to make it like a 3-possession game, but I think this year, we're getting better. Our picks would not convey that message there, but we've been doing it for a while, so might as well feel that way. Colorado is on the road taking on the Golden Knights of UCF. UCF a 14.5-point favorite. Do you think that UCF wins this game by 14.5 points?
You just don't come into the bounce house and take on the Knights.
Yeah, but 14.5 is... That's 14.5 points.
I know, but hey, I just like to fade Dion whenever I can. If I'm being perfectly honest. No, I think UCF, again, this is one of those teams that if they want to try to make a little bit of a run this year, like this is, and granted, I'm not saying Colorado's a great team by any means, but I think if they can really put a whooping on Dion and the boys, that will really help their kind of national, just because, for better or for worse, Dion brings eyes. So I think if you're UCF, you come out and play your best ball, you can kind of get on some people's radars and hopefully, keep fighting for a Big 12 championship berth. And yeah, give me Gus Malzahn, KJ Jefferson, and the UCF Knights.
All right, moving right along here as Max took Colorado. Now we're going to go to a Mountain West versus a Pac-2 team here, and they'll be in the same.
Matchup, right?
Yeah, this is the 2026 future we're looking at. Washington State and the Cougs are on the road taking on number 21 Boise State. Boise State's a 7.5-point favorite.
Yeah, give me Boise State. I think the running back is going to put up another 200 yards and 3 touchdowns probably. In Washington State, I don't know. Going to Blue Turf's a little weird for a lot of teams. So give me the Broncos at the house. I think, again, they want to try to keep this playoff chase alive. So they're going for it.
All right, we'll move right along as Max is taking Boise State in this one. Now we're going to skip over number 8. We're going to go to number 9, and then we'll go to number 10, and then we'll come right back to number 8. How about Florida State University and Southern Methodist University? SMU is a 5.5-point favorite, and that total is sitting at 48.5. Tyler Bishop.
SMU finally woke up last week. They get CCU. Put a little bit of hurting on them. And
doubled them up, I believe. If not, it was close.
This is Florida State's first true road game this year with a team that's struggled to have a whole lot of confidence, it feels like.
Our first text, not the first text that we've gotten today, but like our first text where we're talking about these pickups, that is James Kelly, a Hurricane fan. He says SMU, like as soon as we bring it up. Love it, James. Keep it rolling, baby.
But, they got to go on their own. I'm not saying SMU's a frightening place to play, but if you got an offense and a quarterback already shaky on confidence, going on the road against a team that maybe hitting their stride a little bit, give me SMU.
All right, then we'll go to a Big 12 matchup here. Cincinnati taking on Texas Tech. I believe Cincinnati had Houston last week off the top of my head. I might be wrong. I believe Cincinnati had a big week last week, though. Max obviously had SMU for obvious reasons. Cincinnati, Texas Tech. Texas Tech a 3-point favorite. Total sitting at 58.5. What do you got with this one, Tyler, as Max has Texas Tech?
Yeah, I'm going to have to take Texas Tech at the house. Obviously, 3-point line, pretty much a coin flip. But things get weird in the Big 12, but give me the Raiders in Lubbock.
There you go. And then our final college football game, and then we'll try to get to these NFL games if we have time. Georgia at Alabama, the number 2 team on the road, taking on the Tide. Game day is going to be there. I think we've got a 6:30 kickoff. It's going to be nationally televised on ABC. I wish that we could have you guys listening to it, but we already have an Alabama affiliate in the area. Alabama 2-point dog in this game, and I think that that's being generous to Alabama, if I'm being quite frank. Because what is that? Technically, Vegas sees this as a 5-point game because home field should count for 3.
Yeah,
definitely in the NFL. So we'll say Georgia's a 5-point favorite. But the reality here, 2-point spread, total sitting at 48.5.
Yeah, obviously this is a big game for both sides. Georgia didn't look particularly great against Kentucky. Alabama, this is their first SEC game in the DeBoer era. If they can come out and win this one, that's huge for him going forward. And kind of if you're an Alabama fan, like there's still a little bit of we got to replace Nick Saban. I know for the most part, the offenses look pretty decent under DeBoer, but there's still a little bit like how well can, obviously nobody's going to replace Nick Saban, but how big of those or how much of those shoes can they fill? Obviously, I'm not going to pick against my dogs. That'd be crazy. I mean, we ain't got money on the line here. Like, you couldn't give me.
We gotta have something though. We've got to do something on this game, Tyler. Before this show, before this show is, we got to figure out.
We'll talk to the break. We'll get some.
Yeah, there we go.
On the books, but cautiously optimistic as a Georgia fan going to this one. Bryant-Denny's not an easy place to play. Georgia, Georgia hadn't had the best success against Bama in the Kirby Smart era, the Nick Saban era. Granted, not a lot of coaches or teams did as a whole, but I think this is a big one for Kirby in that mindset. Like, did he have a Bama problem or does he have a Saban? Because if it's a Bama problem, that's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. If it's a Saban problem, all of a sudden it's a little bit easier thing to deal with. And I mean,
that is such a good take, though.
I mean,
bro.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what we're gonna. Georgia could come in and dominate this game 34-10. I don't think that's realistic. But if it happens and it's like, okay, it was a Saban thing. But if they come in and lose this game or, whatever, like it's like, okay, Georgia had that issue with Florida from Steve Spurrier to, the end of the Mark Richt era. It's not. Sometimes it's just a team that gets your head.
I would like to say that if it does become a Bama problem, and I don't think that it's just like a Georgia versus Bama thing. I think it's the fact of like the standard that Nick Saban started in 2007 didn't go the way that anyone expected first year. 7-6. 7-6 with a loss to Louisiana Monroe. Then the next year, you get to the SEC championship and you're sniffing success. As a kid, I'm like, wow, this is what it feels like to be a fan of like a team that actually plays games that are meaningful. This is awesome. Then the next year, you make Tim Tebow cry. No offense, one of the greatest leaders and college football players of our generation. But it's just the truth, right? Shade.
It happened.
Nah,
facts are facts.
It's facts. Then you just go on a tear of dominance from then on out where people are like, if you lose 2 games, we're losing our mind saying Bill O'Brien is the worst offensive coordinator of all time. You know what I mean? If this is a Bama thing, now you have to give the credit to Saban for starting, for getting it there. But you're going to have to give some, not you, but us in general as college football fans are going to have to give some kudos to Greg Byrne for making the right hire. Because this point, it seems like DeBoer was the guy for this job. It's easy to say that when you're playing nobodies, and no offense to Wisconsin, but it just is what it is. Yeah. We're just not on the same playing field, and kudos to you guys for letting us come play in your field. We wanted to jump around, and it took we were doing that very successfully. Neither here nor there. We're going to pick these NFL games coming up next. Don't forget, though, we're going to announce a name here when we get back for the race to Talladega. Keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you ready to go under the lights? Mosley Dolphin football is back. ESPN Northwest Florida brings you live play-by-play coverage all season long. With David Hayes.
Touchdown, Mosley Dolphins!
And Kyle Wright.
And the interception turns into points for the Mosley offense.
The Mosley Dolphins take on rivals Niceville, Rutherford, and the Bay Tornadoes. Exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
All roads lead to adventures this fall in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover our Kia SUV family and get ready to forge a brand new path. Bill Bird Kia is now offering 2.49% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. It's the best family SUV with third-row seating space for the entire family to unwind. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us anytime at 2435 East 15th Street or BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Kia, movement that inspires.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento with $1,775 per $1,000 financed at 60 months. Qualities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 9/30/24.
Auburn football is back this Saturday.
Thorne on 4th down. Looks and he throws across the middle. It's caught. DeAndre Lambert-Smith down to Hash. He's going to score. 10-5 touchdown.
The Tigers clash with the Oklahoma Sooners. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. Central on your home for the Auburn Sports Network.
ESPN Northwest Florida. War Eagle.
Tyndall Air Force Base to the Hathaway Bridge. You're live and local. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Yeah, he is a dog. He is a dog for this week. Oh, man, great to have you guys with us. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. Final segment of the afternoon for us here. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 in this beautiful area of Panama City Beach, and all the surrounding areas, and then 101.9 in another beautiful area of Port St. Joe. I'm David Hazel. I'm with Tyler Bishop, Caveman Rick, and we are very thankful that you guys listen to us at all. With that being said, it's time for the race to Talladega. So with that, let's go with Paul Ritchie. Paul Ritchie, you are now on the clock, and your time to beat is DNF. So if you call, you're going to be in the lead. 850-215-6290. Hopefully Caveman Ray got a good time on that one there. But, yeah, we're going to continue on with our pick'em here in just a few short moments. I do want to take this time to go over the Afternoon Underdogs Fantasy League. Tomorrow will be the Champions League, and then Thursday I'll get to the Inside Drive and Coach James Hell League. The punters of... the fetus punters, all right, Caveman Rick, took down Hayes' Heroes, which is me, 102.84 to 92.08. Rowdy Reptile Kyle took down Tua Girls 1 Cup, 152.96 to 114.26. Terry's Talented Team took down Fan of Cards 140.26 to 88.78. My goodness gracious. Hopefully Not Last, which is Tyler Bishop, fell to Hertz Donut 152.04 to 109.8. And it hurt. It hurt, didn't it? Deuce On You beat Help Me Step Burrows and something other 141.82 to 104 flat, which is rare that you ever see a flat number there.
Got 8 seconds.
8 seconds for Paul Ritchie, my man. Good stuff there. If you end up being the winner, he's not on the air with us, is he?
No. Right, cool. I got his info and everything. So yeah, you keep listening, and maybe he'll be the winner.
Well, there you go, Paul. We do appreciate you. Step one to play the race to Talladega. Listen to the Coach James Hell Show mornings at 7:15 and 8:15. They're going to give you the keyword of the day. Step two, you text the keyword and your racing name to 850-215-6290. Then step three, the final, but the most important step. Well, I guess the most important is texting in, but you got to listen to be able to win these tickets, y'all. 1240 on the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey, Jay Henley, and some other dude, Ralph Jackson, DJ Davy Crockett, David Hayes. There's like a conglomeration of people back there running that board. But then 540 here with the Afternoon Underdogs. If we announce your name, race to the phones, call us back. How long it takes you to call back is going to be your qualifying time. The two fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to the Yellowwood 500 and passes to the United Reynolds 250 on October 5th. With that being said, Paul Ritchie is now in the lead. Some would say he's got the pull. All right, let's get into it. NFL picks for this evening, or not for this evening, this week. Thursday Night Football, Cowboys at the Giants, which you look at this game 2 weeks ago, maybe even up until they beat the Browns, you're like, easy peasy, I'm rolling with the Cowboys. Now, Cowboys are a 5.5-point favorite. They're on the road, but Neighbors is not as friendly as Mr. Roger.
No, the Cowboys, you got to be very disappointed if you're a Cowboys fan, the way the defense has played, the way the offense has played as a whole. Like, yeah, they kind of came back and made that game against the Ravens respectable on paper, but, that just wasn't a great outing by them. And then the Giants, they're the Giants, but hey, you got to be optimistic after beating the Browns. But I can't bring myself to pick the Giants, so give me the Cowboys on the road, but I don't love the pick by any means.
All right, then we'll move on here to the Saints and the Falcons.
I'm going to take
Max has the Cowboys, by the way.
Okay.
Saints and the Falcons, though. This could be a very fun one.
I think this will end up being a good one. I think the Falcons end up pulling this one at the house. They're coming off a tough loss to Kansas City this past weekend. But I think we're starting to see some progress with Kirk Cousins. He's still not quite mobile enough with that Achilles injury, but Darnell Mooney has looked pretty good in a couple weeks now. They just got to find a way to get Bijan rolling the way he wasn't really able to against the Chiefs. But, they've got tons of weapons out there for Kirk Cousins. So give me the Falcons at the house.
All right. Commanders at the Cardinals. Max had the Falcons in that game. Commanders at the Cardinals. I think we've got a little bit of recency bias going on here, and people are going to be all over the Commanders, and then they're going to be like, but I don't know. I don't know. Max is going with the Commanders. That's what led me to say that.
Yeah, I'm going the opposite. I'm fading the Commanders. Can this team perform it twice in a row? You're in prime time. Jaden Daniels comes out and has a flawless game. The the Commanders' offense as a whole, basically a flawless game. Can they do it again this time on the road against the Cardinals team? Has been, kind of scrappy this year, but I like the Cardinals at the house.
All right. I'll just throw out a random game out of nowhere. How about the Bills and the Ravens? Sunday Night Football. Ravens 3.5-point favorite after a dominating performance against the Cowboys, but we also saw the Saints put out a dominating performance against the Cowboys, and they go back home, and first half looked like they were in the driver's seat. Second half, I don't know. Eagles just kind of came alive there, and I really thought that the Saints were going to end up winning that game by getting a field goal at the end to make it 15-14 at that point.
Yeah. I mean, this one's a big one for both teams, especially when you start thinking about playoff seeding down the line. Assuming the Ravens and the Bills are kind of up there jockeying with the Chiefs, and the Ravens haven't already lost to the Chiefs. They kind of need this one. But give me the Bills on the road. They've been. I mean, I'm not going to say the once the Dolphins went out with once Tua went out against the Dolphins, for the Dolphins, the Bills took over that when they took over against the Jags last night. Not saying either's been a fantastic team so far, but the Bills have been as hot as anybody. So give me Josh Allen and the Bills.
All right, then we're going to go to a little Monday Night Football action. You can listen to this game. Well, 3 of those games that I mentioned you can listen to right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, that being Thursday Night Football. Nope, just kidding. Braves taking precedence over the Cowboys and the Giants. But Sunday Night Football you can listen to right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, Bills and Ravens. And then this next game, coverage will start at 6:15 for a 6:30 kick. The Titans and the Dolphins. And the Dolphins, down to their third-string quarterback, are a 1-point favorite, which goes to show you just how bad my Tennessee Titans are, baby.
They should already flex out of this game this early in the season.
I'm cool with that. Honestly, I think you take the Saints and the Falcons. Like, that's a big time game right there. Move them to
divisional game.
But this is it's another doubleheader game, so it's gonna be kind of how it was last week, which I think a lot of people are not big fans of the whole doubleheader action. I happen to be, but I have my reasons behind it.
I think the doubleheader would work as a whole if you did like a West Coast East Coast game.
Yeah,
East Coast a little early,
balance
West Coast
it out a little bit.
Exactly.
Don't just start them right back and forth with each other.
I'm gonna make this prediction on my other prediction as part of this game is Tyler Huntley ends up getting the promotion up, like off the practice squad, ends up starting this game, and then at that point,
I'm thinking Ryan Fitzpatrick's coming back.
They call it Tom Brady, but either way, I'm going to predict that at the end of the day, the Dolphins end up having the better quarterback in this matchup. I mean.
Why you gotta hurt me? Heart.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I've been against Will Levis trained since he was back in Kentucky, so it ain't nothing personal. It's just, I got my prognostications. I got to stick with my guns here and fade Will Levis whenever I can.
My goodness, man. Yeah, this one. I do think that the Titans, it's hard to say from last week, but Will Levis looked better last week than he has in any other week. The defense took its first step back, but it's hard to play good defense when you're on the field for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then when your quarterback throws a pick six and you've gotten a stat that I've shared, I believe 3 times now to this point, Will Levis has thrown 2 interceptions, 2 pick sixes. He leads the league in turnovers.
Yeah.
He's thrown 2 pick sixes. The rest of the league, all the other quarterbacks combined, I don't think we had a pick six last night. There was no turnovers in the Commanders game, so it couldn't have been there. I don't think we saw a pick six in the Bills game, but shout out to DeMar Hamlin for getting a pick. That was a pretty sweet moment, if I do say so myself. The rest of the league combined, all quarterbacks, 2 pick sixes thrown. So Will Levis is taking things into his own hands.
My favorite is there's like ongoing threads on Twitter oh, what's going to be our Will Levis picture of the week? Because there's one from week 1 where he's doing and it's just like, oh man, I feel for the guy, but it's.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is the offensive line is so bad that I I do not give him breaks for week 1, week 2.
Yeah.
You make the right plays, we win those ball games.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for him because he's making boneheaded plays as a quarterback. And, like, even though that you're having the problems with your offensive line and you're running around, you still have to be responsible with the football.
And that's exactly what I was saying, though, is like for week 1 and 2, what in the heck are you doing? Week 3, I think that you let a lot of air. I think he let a lot of air out of the Tennessee Titans after that pick 6, but they were still fight. And then you just see, I mean, he's getting meleeed over and over and over again, like Tim McGraw's writing a new country song or something. Yeah, I don't know. Very, very tough stuff. What's a game that maybe is not on? Is there a game that's not on our pick'em list that you're looking forward to this week? I think when Georgia and Bama are playing, it's like, really, does any other game, like for fans of those teams, really, does any other game matter?
I mean, no. But, I mean, like I said, and especially, like, being a Georgia fan, I was there in Atlanta, like, in 2012 when we lost that one. I was there in the national championship. Like, so
that was a good one. That was basically time management pretty much played that role, right?
I mean, it's one of those, like, it's hard to blame the guy for catching the ball. He shouldn't have caught it.
Yeah.
But
how do you say, don't do that?
But, I mean, Virginia Tech, Miami Friday night could end up being a little bit interesting. Kentucky, Ole Miss, maybe that gets a little weird. Who knows? But I think outside of that, we've covered, I mean, Arkansas A&M. We were kind of talking a little bit earlier about how this is one that Arkansas could realistically come away with. And, I mean, if they win this one, they got to feel good about bowl eligibility there. But, I mean, there's some fun games throughout the college football world. Michigan State, Ohio State. I don't think anybody's expecting Michigan State to pull that one off. But, no, I mean, like I said, I just want to see us beat. I got to see Georgia consistently beat Bama. Not even consistently, but semi-regularly. And it's crazy that Bama's a home underdog for the first time since 2007, when the same year Ryan Williams was born.
Ryan Williams, man.
Do you know he's 17?
Yeah, well, I know he's 17. I know he's 17, but
I mean, that's just a crazy first time there've been a home underdog since 2007.
That's insane. Who was the
LSU?
LSU?
Yeah.
Huh. Man, that LSU-Bama rivalry, which was already something big to begin with, but whenever, when we first got Nick Saban, that they just took that to a
those are
whole
some
nother
great
level.
matchups. And,
Yeah.
Some of those Les Miles, Nick Saban. And, I mean, even the Ed O with 2019, Joe Burrow and everything, that was a great matchup as well. But, yeah, no, I mean, that one in Tuscaloosa, I mean, that's all eyes on that game. I'm interested to see what the ratings come out looking like after that, assuming it's a competitive game all the way through, which, I think we're both hoping our teams come out on top, but I think we both want a fairly competitive game, although I would take like a 42-7 win and not feel too bad about it, but we won't talk about that.
All righty then, man. Well, getting ready to wrap up this show. Is there anything you want to leave the people with here, having about a minute and some change before we leave on your Tangent Tuesday with Tyler Bishop?
I think the biggest thing for everybody this week is just do what you feel you need to. Stay safe with the weather coming in. We love to talk sports, we love to talk games, but at the end of the day, that's all they are.
This
so
is silly compared to reality.
So, and anybody who feels like they may, maybe I shouldn't evacuate, if you feel like you need to do it, your well-being is worth it, mental, physical, family, all that good stuff.
And I'm someone who's not going to evacuate, but I'm not going to be like, I can't believe you're leaving. Like, no, I want you to make the best decision for you and your family, and we'll keep you up to date. By golly, you could just call up here or text 850-215-6290. I've got that text line on my phone as well. So if you need any information or any help, we're going to do our best to help you guys out here as we work through this together. We're a community, and man, and if it's to our right now, it's looking Gulf and Franklin County. They look to be getting the brunt. It did have the brute of it, if you will. It did have a little bit of a westward shift from the latest models, they're saying. So we'll see. I'm not a meteorologist, so I just read whatever someone tells me to read, and that's where we go
not a
from
weather
there.
prognosticator.
I can tell you, I'm not a weather prognosticator. I can tell you this: it feels good, it feels bad, it's raining or it's not raining. That's about it. I don't even get into the partly cloudy, because to me it's either fully cloudy or it's fully sunny, baby. And I try to keep the sunshine, and Jesus loves you, so do I. You'll have a great day. Braves up next.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Race to Talladega.
It's your chance to win tickets to the Yellowwood 500, Sunday, October 6th. Step 1, listen to Coach Hale mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 for the keyword of the day. Step 2, text the keyword in your racing name